You don't have to clean the stencil if it's not correct, just reposition it and without losing time. And you never have unprecise prints of your stencil. It will always come super sharp, super precise out of the inkjet printer, as tiny as you want to, as big as you want to. You don't have any problems anymore with cracking paper, with folding it around movable body parts and get lost of some edges of your concept. And you're not limited anymore to find middle points in your placement on the body. It's super easy. The transparency and the flexibility allows you now to make super, super complex patterns on the neck, where everybody of us tattooers knows if a client shows up and he shows us like an AI generated photo, hey, what about this idea, crazy pattern on my neck? As a tattooer, you already think, okay, the paper won't carry that and the paper won't fold around it like that. Let's talk to the client that this is not possible in tattooing. It is in tattooing, it's possible. It's not possible in positioning.
In stenciling, right?
Yeah, in stenciling. But I eliminated that. You are free to stencil everything now, whatever you can imagine. Any color, any sort of picture, anything you can imagine.
Yeah. Yes. Proving that we can progress, people. There can be new inventions in tattooing that can be very helpful.
Yeah.
I think there's so many tattooers out there listening that have had a day where 3 hours of their day was wasted making stencils.
See.
Yeah. And I think that's going to solve that problem for a lot of those people.
Shit's about to go down.
I'm feeling something in my spirit.
Chats and Tats with Aaron, Della, Vedova.
Hello, friends, lovers of tattoo. Welcome back to Chats and Tats with me, your host, Aaron, Della, Vedova. Today's a little bit of a different episode. You know, in my 33 years as a tattoo artist, one thing I've noticed that it saddens me about my industry is the negativity towards progress. You know, I remember when I started drawing on an iPad, for instance, and everybody in my shop thought I was crazy. And I don't really know anyone in my shops and most of the industry who doesn't work with an iPad now. It's more efficient. You can get the job done quicker. It provides for a better service. It provides for a better product in a lot of ways. It's not necessary, but it's helpful. And here we are. Same goes for, you know, rotary machines and battery power machines and all these things. You know, how many people said they would never touch them? And now we see an industry that's using them prolifically. So in alignment with that, I made good friends with a tattoo artist from Germany who has developed a new product that I must say I was a little skeptical when he was explaining it to me. I had many questions and many doubts, but we were lucky enough here at Guru Tattoo today to have him and his business partner fly all the way out here from Germany and give us a live demonstration in front of me, all my tattoo artists that work here at Guru, and a few others from the local community here in Southern California. And I've had an opportunity to talk to them all after this presentation, and their eyes are wide open. This stuff is pretty amazing, and I think we're going to see a lot of it coming our way. So with that being said, please welcome my guests today, Philipp Trier.
Thank you.
Tattoo artist, owner of Locomotive Tattoo in Stuttgart,
Yes.
Germany, and his business partner and friend, Jörg Meyer.
Right.
Did I get those right?
Yeah,
All right.
right. Perfect.
And just to kind of clarify, you guys started off as a friendship. You know, I think Philipp realized that you know a lot about business. You're an angel investor. You've been involved with a lot of companies, how to put them together, how to run them, how to get things moving. And you recognize that. The friendship grew. And now you guys are partners in this new product, which, by the way, is called Standstill. So it's a stencil product. I know we're all used to using traditional carbon copy stencils or drawing on with Sharpies, which has been effective. But this stuff's different. And I'm going to say a little bit about it, but then I'm going to turn it over to you, Philipp, because this is your product. And I think you could explain it even better than I can. But just, you know, it's and correct me if I say any of this wrong. It is a process where you can print onto a very, very thin film. Some say plastic. It's not plastic. I think all of you have seen those little Listerine strips that you can put in your mouth. They look like plastic, but they instantly dissolve, and it's like a breath mint. And it's totally safe. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to put it in your mouth. In fact, Standstill, the product we're talking about here today, heck, Philipp ate some of it during the presentation. So it's very, very safe, does not hurt the body, is not toxic. Others have raised the question, well, you are printing onto this product with a inkjet printer. In regards to that, a Sharpie, the thing we've used for ever since I've been a tattooer, is way more toxic than the inks that come out of an inkjet printer. So we can get deeper into that, but this stuff is safe. It has been approved by their equivalent of the FDA in Germany, which is much more stringent than what we do here in America. And it's very useful. It's a, you know, there'll be some videos, and if you're interested in this, you can go on YouTube, you can see this stuff being used. But just a few highlights I would like to throw out there. I mean, today, Philip did a tattoo with it. It went amazing. He was able to tattoo. You basically print onto this film. You apply that film to the person's skin. If you don't like where it's at, you can lift it, put it down again. If you like where the top is and maybe not where the bottom is, you can lift up only the bottom. You can stretch it to the right. You can pull it down. You can manipulate this over and over again until that design is right where you want it. Once it's there, you haze it and it's kind of embeds into the tissue. Cover it with a little Vaseline and you're off and running. Once you've got your lines in there, you take any kind of water. It's water soluble. So, you know, water or green soap, and that stuff goes away. Now you have your outline or your dot work or your blood lines or ghost lines are already on the tissue and you're off and tattooing. So that was a quickie on it, but that's pretty much how it works. So having said all that, you tell us about your product. I mean, we're going to get into, why don't we just start with what I kind of covered it, but if you want to add to that, you know, what is Standstill?
Standstill for me, personally, that's how it was developed. Personally, was just another tool, a very helpful tool for me for my own workflow. That's, I recognized in my long tattooing career, having moments in my workflow, in my daily workflow, where I get always at the same stress points. So I developed my tattooing skills on the skin. I developed my tattooing skills handling the machine. I developed my tattooing skills even doing better photos of my tattoos. So I was able to develop all that. But when it comes to placing, when it comes to printing on the carbon sheet paper with a thermal printer, it always stays the same. Since 17 years, it was the same procedure. It was the same failure from time to time. It was the same stress. And even my development as a tattooer asked me to get even better with the same limited material because the projects were bigger, were complexer, were more hard to stencil on the body. So the stress in placement got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was just not satisfied to adapt always my stress level to that. I thought about how is material going on in the world in even more sensitive areas of medicine, of physiotherapy, or other medical stuff, because I directly thought about harmless products, of course. And then I found out this polymeric alcohol film, which is basically made of alcohol. And first I checked where is it used. So it's used in like surgeries, it's used as medical devices, it's used in eye drops, it's used in daily body.
You mentioned it's the film that covers a painkiller, a
yeah,
pill,
painkiller,
or a
for
vitamin.
example. So it's used in and outside and on the body several times, millions of times every day around the world, and is only known as a helpful medical device. So, and I tried to organize myself this kind of material, and then I found out that it's, of course, that it's stable to print on it, because there are printed painkillers, if you can recognize it. Sometimes they have a different color, sometimes they have a little writing on it. And so I made the thought of, okay, if it's printed in the medical field, then surely you can try to print it yourself if you're able to receive the material. So, and I organized it for myself. I printed something on it, and it was a lonely day in my studio where I had, from an injury before, I had a medical adhesive spray in my studio. So experience and the luck of the day came together, or the luck of the moment came together, and I sprayed the adhesive spray on my skin. I used it several times for injuries, on micro injuries on my skin. So I do MMA and grappling and stuff like that. So always from the fingernails, I have like micro
little cuts and scratches.
Micro cuts and scratch. So I sprayed that one on. This is for that. And then I found out, okay, I sprayed this one as harmless to the skin. I printed a little symbol on the polymeric alcohol film, and I put it on my skin, and it stuck. And then first I didn't have the whole process ready, but then I just tried to tattoo through it where it was marked, and then it just worked. And I was blown away. And then directly my brain started to work. The material is more flexible. The material is not giving like coloring the skin if you like peel it off. There's no marks left, nothing. So these are all the advantages. And then my brain started to go, okay, this can be, if it's thin enough, this can be a material where you can project your concept to the skin and tattoo through it without any effort, without any negativity or complication. And then you just peel it off because it's water soluble. Yeah, that was also a good fact which I found out. And then I had my workflow. Just I shake off all the normal workflow ideas which I had of a daily work routine. And then I said, okay, you will do it like one. You will try like design or print out a design, apply it to the skin, tattoo through it, then water it, and what stays is the tattoo lines, and then you can shade it. So that was basically 1 week of development, and then the ground was founded.
Yeah, that's the impetus of the creation of the product. I like that.
I had failure, of course, because I didn't directly discover polymeric alcohol devices. I first tried it with collagen, but collagen, you can't order collagen film which is flat. It's always holes in it or bubbles in it to keep the stuff in place. So, but I first tried it with collagen because it's harmless to the body as well. And after that, I discovered polymeric alcohol.
Very cool. And just because a lot of people are listening, I like to kind of verbally explain this. I mean, for those of you that are listening, I know a lot of you are tattoo artists. An example that Philip gave us today was a kneecap mandala. Okay. It was probably as big as my entire hand spread out, probably larger, meant to go around all the curves and lumps and bumps of a person's kneecap. He was able to put a singular dot with a Sharpie right on the dead center point of the knee and take that mandala and just lay it right there. Now, if you didn't hit it in the right spot, no big deal. Pick it back up, drop it again. Once he had it right in the middle where he needed it, he just kind of, it's flexible and bendable. He just sort of, what's that?
Transparent.
And
the good thing is it's transparent.
Good point, because right, we're dealing with those carbon papers, but you cannot see.
Cannot see through.
Yeah, have you
Where's
ever had
the middle?
Those moments where you need to lay a stencil, but you can't see what's behind it? The old tattoo that you're trying to get up next to, you can't see it.
You have to cut holes in it.
Yes, and which I've done, and you're guessing a little, and maybe it takes 2 or 3 times, maybe it takes you 2 hours. He was able to put this mandala design on this person's knee, and I swear you did that in like 1 minute.
Yeah.
And it was perfect.
It was perfect.
Not a wrinkle in it. This stuff sort of like, once he puts the adhesive spray there, and as he pushes it down into that adhesive spray, it just molds seamlessly into all the crooks and crannies and bends and bumps and lumps. And it was absolutely perfect mandala design on the kneecap, which when I saw that, because I've watched too many tattooers, that might have been 2 hours or an hour, messing with that to get to that point. You did it in like a minute.
And what you can also, when you see the video material, what you also can say, there were tiny, tiny structures in it. Yeah. So there were not like blurry lines or so. You can project like tiny, tiny geometric structures with it.
Yeah. What he's saying there is that inkjet print that's on that film.
Super precise.
It's super precise, just like a piece of paper or any printer you've ever seen. It stays just like that. When you drop a stencil and you've got what you think is your stencil goo in the right amount, but there's an area where it's too heavy. And so it goes on nice. But then when you peel it away, that area where you had too much liquid, it's all blurry over there. None of that. It is
not happening again.
Crystal clear. Yeah. And if you don't like it, you peel it off and do it again until it's exactly where you want it. And then you give it a slight haze with
disinfection spray.
Disinfection spray, which sort of...
It's also alcohol. So if it comes to the structure of the film, which is alcohol, and there comes liquid on it, it gets more, it moisturizes it. So it gets more...
to me, it melted into the skin.
It melts in the skin. Yeah.
Then that little haze he puts on there, the thing melts in there. When he's done, you can't even tell where the skin starts and the stencil starts. It's that much a part of the body. The person can walk around. It looks
like it's already tattooed.
It looks like it's already tattooed, right. The person can walk around. This girl bent her knee. She could walk to a mirror, take a look at it. Another point that was interesting to me is whatever you print on there can be any color you want. You want your stencil to be red, and perhaps in that stencil you want, you got to do some light gray lines and some black lines. Well, you could have the light gray lines in blue and the dark or the black lines
Whatever
are
you
red.
want.
So as you're tattooing, you don't get lost in your design and think, which part am I at? It's color coordinated.
You can mark everything you want. In
Right.
your iPad, when you draw your concept, you can mark where you want to line the lines with red, and then you switch to like a light blue. Then you can mark the parts where you want to do dot work, and then you can do this whole mixture of color as a stencil, projected it on the body, and then you're ready to go.
And I'll
Super
add to
easy.
that, also what he did today is he put that mandala on the knee. So now that's right where he wants it. He's hazed it, so it's like part of the skin. And now he wanted, we were just doing an example, but a snake cutting through it. So he had another one with a snake on it, and he did the same thing there. So that stencil laid on top of the old one in a different color, so he could see the difference between the snake and the mandala. Very cool ability to be able to do that as
course.
well. The whole thing was awesome. Really, really. I think I came in here like, we'll see. As an older tattooer, I'm like, how is it? I don't know, we'll see. But I am impressed, to say the
Thank
least.
you.
Very much so.
It's very useful.
It is.
There are other points of, sorry to interrupt, but there are also key facts where all tattooers know the stress moment. What also is a very good point on that is it doesn't fade away when you put like dry wiping it. Sometimes you have clients who sweat a little bit, and then you're not that organized in your workflow, and you wipe and wipe and wipe 2 times, and then your whole stencil is so light you can't even see it. You have to redraw everything. That won't happen with Standstill. Nothing.
No, it won't. And just to explain how this kind of works for those of you listening, once that's on there, you can coat it with Vaseline or A&D ointment, whatever you guys use. It doesn't affect it doesn't affect it at all. And then as you drop these lines, you just simply dab that area up. You don't wipe, you just dab and keep going. Dab, keep going.
It clean. Yeah.
Keep it clean. And it worked great. You can
as soon as you're ready and everything is tattooed through the film in the skin, then you can water it. The film disappears. What stays is your tattoo concept in the skin. It's safe. It's secure. It's like you saved it on the skin as a concept, and now you can take all your time to shade it, to dot work it, to color it, to do everything.
Right. Another cool thing you did today, which probably in my type of tattooing I would never use, but there's so many people out there doing photorealism nowadays. I mean, he showed an example where he took an actual photograph of a shark and he printed that onto the film just as the photograph. So now that's on the skin. And if you were a color portrait person, you would know where to go to mark off the areas you need, wipe that away. So basically you've eliminated the need to make that line drawing of that shark.
Yes.
You could just follow the actual photograph itself.
And I limited the moment of when you have to correct your stencil, of cleaning it, reproducing it, and doing it again. So I limited several necessary work steps from the conventional system, and I eliminated them. So they are not existent with Standstill. You don't have to clean the stencil if it's not correct, just reposition it and without losing time. And you never have unprecise prints of your stencil. It will always come super sharp, super precise out of the inkjet printer, as tiny as you want to, as big as you want to. You don't have any problems anymore with cracking paper, with folding it around movable body parts and get lost of some edges of your concept. And you're not limited anymore to find middle points in your placement on the body. It's super easy. The transparency and the flexibility allows you now to make super, super complex patterns on the neck, where everybody of us tattooers knows if a client shows up and he shows us like an AI generated photo, hey, what about this idea, crazy pattern on my neck? As a tattooer, you already think, okay, the paper won't carry that and the paper won't fold around it like that. Let's talk to the client that this is not possible in tattooing. It is in tattooing, it's possible. It's not possible in positioning.
Stenciling, right?
Yeah, in stenciling. But I eliminated that. You are free to stencil everything now, whatever you can imagine. Any color, any sort of picture, anything you can imagine.
Yeah. Yes. Proving that we can progress, people. There can be new inventions in tattooing that can be very helpful.
Yeah.
I think there's so many tattooers out there listening that have had a day where 3 hours of their day was wasted making stencils.
See.
Yeah. And I think that's going to solve that problem for a lot of those people.
Can I just, for the deep breath of some listeners, can I just add another stressful point for us tattooers when it comes to large scale projects? Is that okay?
Yeah, Absolutely.
So there are all major points, but I just want to make the small, really clear major advantages of Standstill in comparison to the conventional system. Imagine you have just like a back piece, okay, you're doing, and normally we have to print out all our sheets, put them together with the tape,
Yeah.
and then you have to put the stencil stuff on the whole back, and then you have to hurry kind of a bit because it's hard to have such a big area being in the right moment where the stencil stuff is not too wet and not already dry away.
Right.
So I know everybody of us still would have the moment when they put like 6 sheets of paper on the back of somebody. It will also take, let's be realistic, about half an hour minimum to redraw all the fields where it's not really took touch to the skin in the middle of the back, or where it cracked, the paper cracked on the side of the shoulders and stuff. So all in all, you have like, if you are lucky and you get it in the first try, you have the time for folding all the stuff together, for taping all the stuff together, printing it out, then putting the stencil stuff on it, and putting this whole sheet, and then redraw the things that are not perfect on the skin. So let's all in all, this is a positioning about an hour. Let's say it's an hour.
You're being kind. It could be
I'm
much
kind.
more. Yeah.
Typically much more.
Yeah.
Even when it's especially when it's precise patterns in it. Yeah. You can forget that right away. But now with Standstill, you have your concept, like 5 layers on your iPad. You draw the whole back piece, then you scale it up so that you can print sheet after sheet where you have to, how many sheets you need. You don't have to tape them on the table. You can tape them now directly on the body. You just take your sheet of the middle point of the back piece, you spray the skin, you place it. You take your time. Then you spray the neck part. You take another sheet. Because it's see-through, you can add it on where it belongs, tape the next one. Then you take the right shoulder, the left shoulder, the upper side, and the right upper side. And you're ready in positioning.
I'm glad you covered that, because that was a question I had during your presentation, because that's the type of stuff I do a lot. And another point I would make to that is, after you've gone, the traditional way, after you've gone through all that effort, if you don't get it on that first try, guess what? You're starting over, most likely, because that stencil's probably ruined. It probably got broken up during the process.
Smudgy, it's like blurry in here, or you
just dropped it in the wrong place. You're like, shit, it goes on perfectly, but it's 1 inch too low.
Yeah, it was good in the middle, but when it comes to the middle of the neck, it's a little bit like on this side.
To the right, yeah.
So now you can correct that, and you don't even have to apply all the big, large scale project stencils in one. You can also just mark your middle, then you tattoo the one layer, and after that you place the next layer because it's see-through. Where the line stops, you can add the next layer on.
Another good point. I've had so many projects where I do get that stencil on there finally,
but you don't want to line everything in once.
Well, that's the problem. Is now I've told my clients, it's hour 4 and they're done. And I'm like, we have to finish, because like for me to get these stencils back into this very complex area is going to be a nightmare. You just got to muscle through this. But with this product, you just
make the upper part, and the next day you make the lower part.
Or another session
totally okay.
2 weeks later.
Another session 2 weeks later. It's no problem at all.
Wow.
So easy.
It is easy. Yeah, I'm trying to cover all the different advantages. I think
I'm still seeing new opportunities. It's like the field of new possibilities is getting bigger every day I use it.
Yeah, you're still discovering the things it can do. I know. As I sit here, I'm thinking there's something I'm missing.
And I'm doing it for 1 year now.
Yeah.
Like my development phase is like 1 year now from now.
Is
more than 1 year.
Is the product released to buy?
Yeah.
It's out. Okay.
Yes, it's out.
Okay. And the tattooers in your shop, you yourself have been using this already for a year at least.
Yeah, no.
So you would have seen or been around any
I have field content. I have never in this 1 year I have like that the color is came out like lighter or stuff like that, because it's just the lines. All the shading process and so is without the product. So the there's no barrier on the skin to keep away the full like settled ink in the skin,
Mhm.
like that it's really deep and really solid. Yeah.
Mhm.
This is the normal work of a tattooer. If it's light, it's not your fault, but it's your work as a tattooer that it doesn't came out that brilliant,
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
it's not the stencil.
just about. Let's say if a big let's say stay to that. If you have a big back piece, what's the brilliance of a big back piece? It's not the tiny lines.
Mhm.
It's the solid shading. It's the solid covering of large fields in it and the contrast you're building it. But this is just up to you as an artist. It's not the work of Standstill.
Well, bottom line, it's just a much more efficient way to
Yeah.
get a design onto a human body,
course, yeah.
especially when it comes to curves and lumps and bumps and crazy muscles that pop out in different areas. And, typical carbon copy paper, it's paper, it's stiff. And unless you've got it wet enough, it doesn't want to mold to, I've had a client that works out a lot and the spine on his back dips in like an inch and back out. And to get that paper to go down into that valley, come out and cross his back, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I watched him today, and it just sort of molds to the skin. It just
Easy.
melts in a way into the skin.
Yeah.
And again, once it's in there, you could take your hand, rub across it, push on it with your thumb. You could stretch it. That's another thing. You can stretch. You can manipulate it. It doesn't blur or change the design whatsoever. The only thing that gets rid of this stuff is water or alcohol. So, you just keep the Vaseline on there, work your lines, don't get any water on it.
When it comes heart to heart, the only thing you have to adapt in your tattooing is that you don't wet wipe your concept during the lining process. You just have to dab with a dry towel. But if that's the only adaptation you have to do for discovering so many more multiple ways of projecting concepts to the skin, that's not really
Not
a
a big
hard.
price to
You don't
pay.
have a hard time with that. No.
I could see getting used to that. Really.
No.
I mean, I kind of tattoo that way. Most people are tattooing in that fashion anyway, because even with a stencil, regular traditional stencil, wiping a lot and spraying,
It also disappears.
It can also disappear. So I have gotten in the habit of, move,
being
dab,
sensitive.
move, dab.
Being sensitive. Try to keep the control over it. But if you're experienced tattooer, you will get it right away. That was my sentence that we had a talk during the seminar I gave, or the demonstration. You asked me that, and we talked about that. If you get along with the conventional system kind of way with big projects, if you ever have achieved this level of positioning with the conventional system, you will come along with Standstill just in a day.
Even more easily.
In a day.
Yeah. But yeah.
So much easier. If you have experience with such a stiff material, folding it around the body, what are you able to, how quick can you learn with a flexible, not fading away material? It's super
and
easy.
I just love the part where you can pick it back up and replace it.
Yeah, super nice.
How many times have we
Super
dropped
nice.
it on there and been like, I'm so
I have
close.
to do it again.
I am so
Yeah.
I'm a half an inch off.
Yeah,
You just peel it up and do it again.
that's it.
You can do it you can do
That's
it
it.
100 times.
Saves time.
Big time. Yeah.
Saves big time.
It's very cool.
And it's just more clean. Can I say one thing more? Is about what my feeling during the process now of developing it and using it on the body is like, we're all professional artists and we should know our art, our craft, okay? But there's always this moment when, let's make the idea of positioning a very complex design on the leg of a client. So you have your very impressive concept, you're showing it to the client, the guy says, wow, this is awesome, how did you draw it, you're so professional. And then he finds you a minute later rolling on the floor, cracking some stiff paper around his calf, and everything is blurry and messed up. Not that, it's a little bit dramatic, I'm being honest.
But sometimes
it
it is.
seems from this level of professionality, you go down to, maybe hopefully it's a good day today in positioning.
Yeah.
And then you go back to your really professional tattooing. Now with this apply or system, with this transfer system, like the whole workflow really looks for the client who are not into tattooing every day. It really looks so clean and so professional and so smooth and no stress moments and no, excuse me, it looks now like this, but trust me, later it will be precise.
Yeah.
It's
No,
just,
I've had many moments like that where you drop the stencil, and I know in my experience it's going to be fine, but you have to kind of explain that to them because the stencil's blurry and
Yeah.
muddy. And I'm like, Don't worry.
Don't worry.
It will not look like that when
Yeah.
we're finished.
Yeah.
And, they're good with it. At least my clients.
Of course of course. My
But-
clients trust. But they now in this 1 year test phase, they came to me and say, wow, for the first time I can just imagine how it looks like in the end. It's super keen. I go for it right away.
I think the point being anything you can do to make that person feel more confident and relaxed.
You have to do it.
Well, one, it's your professional duty to do that. But
Yeah.
but secondly, tattooers need to realize the more that person feels that comfort and security, the better day you're going to have.
The more
better,
team feeling you have.
Well, and they're going to sit better. They're going to
Of
be more
course.
relaxed. They're going to
Yeah.
be more easy to
because
work
they're
with.
sure what they get.
Yeah, they feel confident. They see it on their
Confident,
body, crystal clear.
Yes.
No gray area, no room for your interpretation. Like, what's he going to do with it? Maybe
You
he's
still
gonna-
have that. Of course, you have as an artist, you have room to make with the lines and the concept on the skin whatever you want afterwards. But it's just for this quick moment. Just give pleasure to the clients. It's totally okay. We're thankful that we have so many loyal and good clients.
Mhm.
They're paying their ass off for a day session. Like it's more than €1,000 here back in Europe, and this is a lot of money for us. So we're not spoiling them. We're just giving them the whole service. What's wrong with that? It's just better. And even when it comes to portraits, I mean, come on. I have clients. They have really a sad story in life, and they want a portrait maybe of a passed away parent or passed away grandfather, grandmother, and they gave me a good reference or from a dog. Even so super hard. I got the portraits from my dog, and then the professional artist, of course, he draws all the ghost lines on the iPad. He makes the stencil in the conventional way, and then he puts it on the skin. And these moments, they are so good now to support, to make already then in this stage of tattooing a good feeling for the client. That is the whole projected image of his dog, of his grandfather is already projected on the skin, and they can get the feeling for it, how later it looks, and how they can be thankful and respectful for that, and how it's gonna affect their memorial of these persons or these animals. So this is such a goodie from us as craftsmen to the client who asks for the work. So
I think you're talking about the experience. There's the product we create. The end product should be good, but anything we can do to make that experience more relaxed and more professional. Yeah, that's I believe in that. I
Why
believe
not?
that's our
Why
job.
not?
Yeah, and they're going to leave with a more tuned up experience.
yes, a good possibility. Yes.
Very cool, man. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
So you where would people
And
find
we
it?
patented it.
Oh yeah, don't try to go do this, everybody. Too late.
You can try, but we have good lawyers in Germany.
Well, I'm sure you did. I would have too.
Yeah.
Where can people go? Just standstill.com.
www.stand with a D, then
Yeah.
a minus, still
Okay.
with double L, and then .de.
.de.
But if you Google it now, you will find it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, how you write it,
Yeah.
because lots of people are already
It's going to
looking
come
for
up.
it. Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah. And we have, of course, a very good Instagram account where our professional, helpful assistants back home in Germany say many greetings to Laura. She's taking care of all of the content and the videographer and the answering of the comments and stuff, because she knows the products very well. Is at standstill.de. Yeah, that's our Instagram account, and we also have like all the other channels on YouTube and stuff. Yeah, you will find us if you're really searching for advice, instruction videos, or just funny content from us in examples how you can use it. Then you can go Instagram, YouTube, or at our website.
Very good. Very good. And we don't need to get too deep on the price. I can just say we talked about it earlier, and it's extremely relative to what we're
getting
for.
even lower when we're more profitable. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, even if the product costs a slight bit more, if a year goes by and you use that, maybe not for every job, but use it for the ones where it's very helpful, and that tattooer saves himself 30 minutes here, 40 minutes there, add that up in a year, maybe that adds up to 40 hours. Well, what do you charge an hour? I mean, you put a number on
200?
it. Yeah. So you've got yourself $8,000 you just kind of
Saved.
saved yourself.
Even if you just look to the transfer paper cost, you have to place for one tattoo 2-3 times
Mm-hmm.
the
If it
transfer
goes wrong?
paper if it goes going wrong.
Right.
With a standstill, you just do it once. and it's done.
Right,
So
you're never going to need to do it twice.
exactly.
Of course, maybe there will happen some mistakes and you have to do another sheet because something
Yeah,
with
but
the
it's
printer
very
went wrong.
seldom.
But it's much more less than with the common. Let's take it back to the back piece. If you use like 6 sheets of paper and you mess it up in the first time, you have another 6 sheets. It's 12 in total. So, and with Standstill in a normal way, you only use the 6 and that's it.
I think we have a reasonable pricing so far.
Yeah.
And
Everything is included. You don't have to buy anything else. You don't have to adapt something in your studio inventory. You can use our ready-to-go package. The rest is already in your studio.
Well, and I'll add a layer to that as a shop owner who uses 3Ms,
Yeah.
you know, and
You don't have to. You have to buy a special printer. You don't have to buy a special liquid. You don't have to buy a special machine. No special this. No special that.
I've probably spent over $20,000 in either buying thermofaxes or having them repaired.
Yeah.
Probably more.
So and this is ready to go.
Yeah.
Just $100 and you're ready to go.
and
For 50 large
$2
projects.
per sheet, so it's not really too expensive.
Okay. Very good, man. Well, there you have it, everybody.
Including the spray.
Including the
spray.
the adhesive spray.
It's not $2 per sheet. It's for the whole transfer process, $2
Okay.
per sheet. Yeah. Because we included in our pack the adhesive spray and 50 sheets. So if you learn how to use it efficiently, it's probably 30, 35 large or normal size projects that you can build up with it. Yeah.
Very reasonable, very relative to what we're already paying. And like you said, probably if you factor in the time savings, probably, in fact, it's definitely cheaper. The more I think
And
about
I didn't invent it for making the big cash cow here. I invented it first for my own workflow. And I'm a tattoo studio owner as well, and some other companies. So I know how to make a human like a tolerated price. Okay, so what you get out of it and what you pay for it, this is totally in the range of us with our tattoo products.
Cool. There you have it, everybody. Please check it out. I had a whole shop of tattooers here today from Guru and a few other friends from other shops in the area. And every single one of them were eyes wide open, like blown away. I think most of them came here because I asked them to be here and walked away going, holy crap. They were impressed. I was impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, very impressive. So before we go, maybe you could mention also Illume. I know you have this app, and I know there's a lot of talk nowadays about digital assistants, which are awesome, which I use.
Yeah.
But you have one specifically for tattoo artists,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, as a tattoo artist, of course, I had the problem of not like in your great studio that you have such a solid and very good assistant managers like Brittany is. We always had a problem like this job of assisting a tattoo artist beside his creative life. Doing all the formal things as an entrepreneur. And we try to make a very good workflow based on my experience for mainly single entrepreneurs in like body modification jobs, like physiotherapists, like tattooers, piercers, beauty salons, and stuff like that, permanent makeup artists. And it's an app where are a lot of chapters like band together and they build up each other as a workflow. So you start with your dashboard where your first client or the next appointment is shown. Then you have a conventional calendar where you can switch everything. We put it like we programmed it in that way that it's very easy and very open to handle for you as a person. Of course, we have added AI. We talked about that on the last episode. But for creating based on the reference pictures, the one is sending you, if it's a haircut or a tattoo, doesn't matter. We added an AI, which is like kind of scanning the reference pictures. And then for your specific client, he gives you, or the AI gives you an inspirational mixed out of that as a new creation. Based on that, you can do your own thing out of it. And then afterwards, of course, he has like client files and stuff like that. It's all included. How often the client was was in your studio? Is he like a base client? How you call it? Like a often coming client?
A repeat client.
A repeat client and stuff like that. So all the information is like tracking wise is a bit in that. And then you have the. Do you have in America? Do you need to sign the
release form?
The release form for that you getting tattooed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is also in it. And after all, in the end is the revenue system, which takes care of all your daily income and your monthly outcomes and stuff like that, and makes the revenue out of it, and then you can send it to your tax lawyer or whatever.
All the accountant is done already by the system.
Yeah. So you maximum in the whole process of organizing your calendar, in organizing your reference pictures with the inspiration help, up to the revenue at the end of the month. It's all packed together and works within every part of it, works with each other, so that you have like a paid assistance by your side, which is very highly paid in Germany. For a person who will organize all these things for you as an artist, you at least have to pay like $1,500 a month. And now our system, which works very good. We are already in the test phase, like now 6 months with our whole crew, and they're all working with it. And it is like 49 euros a month. That's it. Everything is included.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Does it send like a text to the person reminding them of their appointment?
No, this is excluded.
It is.
Yeah, this is excluded because you have the reminder on your calendar and you can text them by yourself.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. You can see what's happening next and what's happening tomorrow. And then if you want to remind the person, maybe we will add that on. But we have so much content right now in our app, and it's so cheap. With some services we had to skip and trust on the user of the app to have benefit of all these complicated things added in the app. And all these simple facts, just to remind or to call the customer. These are possible. You can write out of the app, write a message, or you can call the customer. But yeah, to remind them, you just have to take a look at your calendar, and that's it.
And do it yourself.
And it's only for the side of the service entrepreneur. It's only for our side as an artist to organize our life. It's not that the client can see your calendar and add himself a spot where you don't want him to be, or you're forced to take the question about an appointment and stuff like that. It's for your own organization, to save money and to be organized and to have like a good start in the day, that you have everything ready to go. All the information is everything.
And just spell that for everybody.
Illum. It's like from illuminate. It's like lighten everything up, making everything clear. It's like ELLUME. Illum. This is the icon. It's like the blue one, E, and it's called Illum. I hope you can see it.
It's okay. Most people are.
We will be in app stores, not yet, but we will be in app stores in the first 2 weeks of April, I think. Inform yourself. We have a landing page if that is interesting for you. Yeah. You can go to www.illum, ELLUME, and then .studio.
Okay.
So there you can inform yourself. You can pre-sign with your email address, and then you get an email when it's launched, and then you can take a look.
Very good. Well, there you have it, folks. If you're a tattooer and you're looking to make your job and your life easier and making the experience of your client more professional, I think this is a great product.
Thank you.
I wouldn't have said that unless I was able to kind of really see you work with it today. Yeah. I fully endorse it. I think it's fantastic. And I wanted to share that with all my listeners. So thank you guys both for coming so far to show us today. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you guys all for tuning in. That's it for today. And check us out on the next one. Till then, peace out.
Chats and Tats with Della Vedova.